This is the Oz report for August 22nd, 2025, one day early this week. And let's start as usual with Plex and Plex adjacent items. Now, Plex overall has stabilized quite significantly. We're at 5.8, almost unchanged to last week. 5.798 is the lowest sell order right now in the global Plex market. So fairly stabilized, and we don't see, we're not going to see a big slide anymore. The only thing that I think might be on the horizon is CCP hasn't done a new Eden Store sale in a long time. Yes, they brought out the whole no FOMO dev blog, as I'm calling it. They might turn it down a little bit on the new Eden Store sales, but they're definitely going to at some point do something, right? Because it's probably too lucrative for them to suck that Plex out of the system. So be ready for that. Last week, somebody asked in chat, is it Plex buy time? And I said yes. And I think it still might be. I think you can still make money if you're buying Plex now and you're waiting for that next Eden Store sale. If it's good, you can make real bank on these. And remember, Plex is like cash. You can immediately buy it and sell it on the market or in contracts if you want to save your taxes, right? So that's Plex. Large skill injectors are under pressure this week because CCP brought out new skill boost bundles. These skill boost bundles, I covered them in a separate video. The long story short is they make a lot of sense if you're 80 million plus SP, but below that, they probably don't make sense. And if you're below 50 million, they really don't make any sense to buy at all, because you're better off just buying Plex with your cash and then turning your Plex into ISK and ISK into large skill injectors. You're just simply better off. But if you're 80 million plus and you are buying these, then make sure you buy them in the Eve store or in the Marquee Dragon store with the code Oz, and you get 3% off in the Marquee Dragon store, not the Eve store. Back to LSI, these new packs, they will drive some people to buy SP that way and not through large skill injector. So overall, this might not be a huge reason for large skill injectors falling, but it's certainly a reason why they're not rising again. And we've been covering this for a few weeks. Large skill injectors in the current environment, they just don't have a reason to rise because there's no increased demand. There is an increased supply based on the amount of skill farms that are out there. Plex prices are low. Overall, skill extractor prices are low. So overall, just everything is pointing towards cheaper large skill injectors. And right now, I don't see any way that this market is going to significantly recover in the near future. Again, skill extractors never recovered from the last 2-for-1 sale. That sale was just too big. The market is saturated. Everyone that needs them is sitting on a huge stockpile. So, these are trading just way below Plex parity value. And so here, similarly, I think here I have more hope that at some point they will recover. When they do recover, it's going to be, I think, rather quickly, because that's when the market will run out. But right now, also here, this might still take a few months to shake out, and possibly by then CCP might run another sale, even though I just hope not, because these current prices are just broken prices in terms of the Plex exchange rate. Last but not least, hypercores. Hypercores did go up about 2 to 3% this week. Similarly with the skill extractors, 2-for-1 sale happened. They're still very, very low. Here I have even less of a hope that they're going to recover, just because the market is way oversaturated. All right, let's go back to our market dashboard. What I want to show you there is overall Moon materials still going down in price, except for R64, they are rising in price. What's big though is that minerals have dropped 4.5%. So that is quite significant. It's not pyrite. It's, Incidentally, it's Morphite, the one that CCP doesn't want to drop further in price, and some others that are pushing these mineral prices down. A lot of that also has to do with goons settling in Insmother and now actually mining. We covered this earlier in the MER. Massive amounts of asteroid ore coming out of Insmother because goons have started mining there in their new home. And so while they might not take it directly to JITA, certainly in the overall galaxy context, this is going to have a big impact on supplies. All right. So minerals down 4.5%. And then the big one is tier 1 salvage and tier 2 salvage, both down 8% and 11% respectively. They are trading 30 and 40% below 52-week average. And this is all due to the increase in exploration sites that are available through SOFHUB upgrades in null sec after the latest expansion. So overall, just very, very high supply. There are some items that are trading as low as I haven't seen them in such a long time. We'll have a look right now on the Oz Report dashboard, but this is just very, 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 very cheap. All right. Very cheap salvage. I said that earlier on stream. It's very difficult for me not to buy them right now. You guys know that I'm not really trading because I'm on the CSM right now and I have an NDA and I don't want to get mixed up with any of that. But seeing some of these salvage prices so low, I feel like, I mean, at some point, something's going to change and we're going to go back to previous prices. Is what my gut says, right? But I'm not going to join any of the speculation of what CCP may or may not do. I truly just do not know. So very, very cheap salvage prices. And that has a knock-on effect on a lot of things, especially if you're looking at tier 2 rigs here. Tier 2 rigs down 5% and trading 36% below 52-week average. So very, very cheap rigs right now. Very cheap tier 2 salvage. And even if you look at tier 2 modules, which has a lot to do with the deflated Morphite prices, they're also 18% below 52-week average and down this week. If we look at specific items, so interestingly, what's trending up this week? Ore Ice Harvester. People going out there to mine ice, especially in high sec. 30% up this week. Interestingly, also the Providence, that's a freighter, a MAR, if I'm correct. 22% up, and then overall a very, very mixed bag. Interestingly, Evaporate deposits. This is our 4 moon material that is trading very, very cheaply, but it's just erratic. So this week it happens to be up 16%. But, we've seen weeks where it was also down 10, 15, 20%. So this is just erratic. And then if we're looking at what's trending down this week, again, this is dominated by salvage and by rigs. We're seeing here contaminated Lawrence fluid down 28%, armor plates down 20%, and then Trimark armor pumps, the medium and the capital ones 17 or 18% down. Contaminated nanite compound 16% down. Impetus consoles 14% down. So overall, it's all salvage and rigs on the sliding side. If we're looking at what's in short supply right now, we see this list topped by 2 abyssal filaments. So cataclysmic exotic filaments and raging gamma filaments are in very, very short supply. They've been bought out of the market. We see some compressed scordite here. That's also only half a trade day left in the market. And same as last week, we see the Xistor's core probe launchers here also because people are using them a lot for exploration. And interestingly, we also have with the burnt logic circuit a tier 1 salvage material here. It looks like even though the supply is very high, also people are buying it up in large numbers. This could be in part because people are building a lot of rigs, but also because people might be speculating in the way that I said earlier. So, yeah, if we look at what's being traded at a very, very high volume, you see that this is also dominated by salvage. So overall, there's just a ton of action in here. You're having a lot of supply hitting the market, but you're also seeing people buy it up. So, you know, the thruster consoles at twice the regular market volume, right? You're seeing power conduits almost twice the regular market volume. So a lot of the salvage is just a very hot market right now, and a lot of that is just people throwing it onto the market and people buying it at cheap prices. So right now there's still a very, very active market. You know, it really depends on how much it's going to slide down, whether people are going to lose a lot of money or whether people are just going to ride that market down and we'll just have cheap rigs forever. Same with the most underpriced category. I mean, here it's quite easy to see. You have the typical R4 moon materials that, like atmospheric gases and cobalt as an R8 moon material and silicates as another R4 moon material, mixed in with a bunch of salvage that is now trading, you know, 50, 60, 70% below 52-week average. And the list is topped by the metamolecular combiners, which are the ones that are dropping in ghost sites, and ghost sites overall have been made, you know, easier, and they're dropping more of these. And so, you know, this is overall, you know, good if you like cheap ships. Good if you like bottlenecks being removed in the game. I think, you know, overall, I think the negative here is for explorers that were doing exploration before. Most of them are earning less per site now. And definitely moon miners. I mean, moon mining is just not in a great, active moon mining is not in a great place right now. And so hopefully we can work out some things on the CSM with CCP to whip that back into shape. All right. That's the Oz report for August 22nd, 2025. And we're going to return to the regular stream. And I'll see you guys on the Oz report next week.